let's say I have a client that's a restaurant called Raviolis, and they hire me to start doing some marketing. They want me to run ads from Google and Facebook to send more traffic to their website to generate more business. Well, what I want to do is I want to know, okay, when people hit the landing page, let's say this is a landing page, or maybe it's the homepage of their website, and call, I want to know where they came from, attribution, right? And the way that we do this is through call tracking through a number pool. So let's talk about how we set it up. So I'm going to come back out here and I'm going to go to phone calls, number pools. Now, I don't have any number pools here, so we're going to create the first one and we're going to click on add a number pool. So we get two questions here. Do we want to create multiple numbers that correlate calls to website visitors, PPC keywords, and more? Yes. Or create one phone number that tracks all callers to a single marketing campaign. So you see the difference, right? One is a number pool that can give you keyword attribution if people are coming in from AdWords. The other is if you just need a number to track a one-off campaign, right? So maybe you're going to run like an e-blast and you just want a number that you're going to put into that email, and you know that if a call comes through that number, it couldn't have come from anywhere else, so that you could go with a single campaign. We want to track visitor activity. So I'm going to leave this as all visitors. You can get explicit here. So you could say, I only want this number to swap. So let me back up a little bit. The number on the page, the normal number, after we set this up, is going to swap when people come in from certain traffic types or sources. If I just set it to PPC, the number will only change if somebody comes through a paid ad. I'm going to leave it at all visitors though, because I want the number to always swap to a number that I'm tracking so that I can know where all the calls came from. So now I'm going to click Create Pool, and I'm going to give it a name. So I'm going to say website main number. I don't need many numbers. Normally you want at least 4. So I'll just go with 4 here. And I'll just put in 555, 555, 5555. And it's not going to let me. All right, so let me get more specific. I'll do 2, 1, 5, 3, 4, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now the next step is what's the swapping number? So we have to tell the script, hey, when you see this number on the page and the traffic source is, in this case, any traffic, swap it out. So you may have a different number on the page than you want to forward the number to. In this case, I'm going to leave it the same. It's going to be the same number. So I'm going to copy this so I don't forget it. And then you have to confirm that you understand your buying numbers through your Twilio account. So here I'm going to say, yes, I want 215 numbers. Oh, wow, and they are available. Fantastic. Okay, so we're going to move forward with 215. Now, a couple of options here. A whisper message is smart because it lets your customer know what's happening, right? So, and it gives you, again, attribution as their marketing company. So you might want to put something like, and here's where it gets tricky, right? Because I'm doing all traffic. So if I'd only picked, let's say, Facebook ads, I could say new call from Facebook ad. And now when your client answers the phone, it's going to say, you have a new call from Facebook ad. And then they understand, oh, wow, great, that marketing company, they're really generating a lot of calls for us. Because I'm doing all traffic here, I might say new call from ad campaigns. Just so, again, that your customer understands that this call that's coming in didn't come out of thin air. It's because of the work you've done. Call recording. So a lot of states, this is mandatory. If you're going to record a call, which you want to do because you want to be able to listen to the recordings inside of High Level, you have to play a message saying, hey, this call is going to be recorded. Some states you don't. So if you're in a state where you don't have to, by law, let them know you're recording the call, you can just put one space and it won't play that message, but it will still record the call. In most states, you need to have this. You need to leave it on. Type in something like, this call will be recorded for quality purposes. Next. Okay, great. My number pool has been purchased and created. my numbers are going to get forwarded here. So a couple of things right off the bat. If we click source, we can see we selected all visitors. If we click numbers, we can see our numbers. And now here's where we set the formatting, which is very important, because whatever the formatting is here, so here we have the first 3 numbers in parentheses, a space, 3 numbers, a dash, 4 numbers. It has to exactly match on the website. So what I'm going to do, again, I'm just going to copy this. And let's say you didn't want it like that. Let's say you wanted it to be 3 numbers, dash, 3 numbers, dash, 4 numbers. You can do that, and you can save that here. But then again, make sure you change it on the website so that it matches. I'm going to leave it the way it was. And I'm going to copy this exactly. I'm going to hit update. And I am going to, well, let's check out one more thing on the edit pane. So here we go. Here's all our details. Here's our number. This formatting was just copied from what we just set. And we'll talk about a group ID later. So now that I have my number and I have this set up, I need to make sure it's going to work. So I'm going to go back to my funnel page. And I'm going to scroll down to my number. And I'm going to paste it exactly as it was. So now this will swap because the formatting matches exactly what I had set in my call settings. So let's go back, and now let's get our swap script. So we're going to go back to phone calls, number pool, and we're going to hit this information button over here. And this is where we're going to access our tracking swap script. So I'm going to click that to copy it, and I'm going to head back to my funnel, open it up, and I'm going to go to settings. In the body tracking code is where I'm going to paste that, and I'm going to hit save. And now I'm going to open up this page, and I'm going to grab my URL, and we're going to test it out. And here's how. We're going to open an incognito window, and I'll lower this down so that you can see the URL. And we're going to simulate as if I came from a Google ad. So the way to do that is to paste your URL and then put a question mark. And we're going to type in gclid. Oops, clid. So this simulates a Google AdWords click. So when I hit enter, before I do this, let's go back and look at our number. Number pool, 4 numbers. Okay, so the number on the page is 1, 2, 3, 4, and any of these other numbers is what we should see, one of them. So let's hit enter. The page will load. When we scroll down, we can see that the 1, 2, 3, 4 number is no longer there because it was swapped out with one of our new number pool numbers. So we know that our swapping script is working, and we are ready to start tracking calls. All right, so let's take a look at the result. As the calls start coming in, if you go to call logs, you'll see a report like this. So these are real calls that have come in for a client here who's a garage door company. So you can see that it's showing was the call answered or not. We can see the name of the campaign that we set, as well as the source type. So these 2 calls came from Google Ads, and we can see here that it's actually displaying the keyword that the user searched before they saw the ad, click through, and made the call, which is really powerful to be able to attribute calls back to an actual keyword search. And then if we hit the expand here, this was an unanswered call, but how about this one? We can go ahead and listen to the call and then give it a rating. We can also see the landing page that the person was on when they initiated the call. So pretty cool. Before we finish, I want to talk about 2 other quick things. The first is when we are here, if we go back to edit our keyword group, right? So we have our number pool, we click the pencil, and we have same as forwarding number. If I turn that off, we can see the normal number that's on the page is here. But let's say you had a page with more than 1 number, right? A lot of businesses that have 2 or 3 phone numbers on them. If you want them all to swap, you can add more swap targets here by typing in the number, pushing the plus sign, and it'll add it in there. And that way, all of those numbers will swap to whatever the new tracking number is. The other thing I want to cover really quickly is group IDs. So you can give your keyword pool a group ID down here. So let me quickly paint a scenario. Let's say I have a landing page. I'm going to run AdWords traffic to it, and I'm going to run Facebook traffic to it. But any organic traffic that goes there, I want them to see the regular number. So I only want the number to swap if it's coming from a Facebook ad or if it's coming from a Google ad. So let's say I change the source to this one to be my Google ad one, and then I added another pool and it was my Facebook ads. I'm gonna call that group of those two number pools paid ad traffic. So if I come back here to edit, I can give this name a group, and let's say it's paid ad traffic, and I add that. And if I did the same to my Facebook number pool that I had, if I had one down here and I gave it that same ID, when I go to get my script, you'll now see that there's the normal snippet and then there's the group snippet. The group snippet will include both of the keyword pools. So it's a way to use one script for two keyword pool swaps. So that's pretty convenient if you have that use case, just an FYI. So that's call tracking with